Thank you so much for downloading our free guide on how to warm up your athletes properly, all while avoiding injury and increasing their performance. It's our mission here at CCA to provide every cheer coach in the world with the resources they need to keep their athletes safe on and off the mat. So we hope this serves you and your athletes in doing just that. Before we start any physical activity like practice or competition, it's important to warm up our bodies to help reduce the risk of injury and improve our performance. A proper warm-up is a series of exercises and movements that gradually increase the heart rate, blood flow, and muscle temperature. This helps the body transition from a resting state to a state of physical activity. Warming up has a lot of benefits. First, and more importantly, it helps reduce the risk of injury. When you start an activity cold, your muscles and joints are more likely to sustain a more serious injury like ligament damage. And let's face it, if you've coached cheer for any period of time longer than a week, I'm sure you've experienced this already. Also, you may feel stiff and awkward, which will make you feel uncomfortable, right? But warming up, it loosens up the muscles, helping you prevent injuries. You'll feel more comfortable and confident, which will show in your activity. For your team, this will lead to a better practice and performance on the mat. So what does a proper warm-up look like? A proper warm-up should include both dynamic stretching and muscle activation exercises. We'll get more into dynamic stretching in Cheer Coaching Academy, but today I want to give you 9 exercises that you can implement before every team practice and tumbling class, all to make sure that your athletes are warmed up properly and limit the amount of injuries that you have in your program. I know that when I implemented these exercises in my last 4 years of coaching, we didn't have a single athlete get a new injury on their ankle or their knee. Not one. Now, look, I can't guarantee that for you, but I can guarantee that this will go a long way in preventing injuries for all of your athletes. So I want you to imagine going a full season without losing kid after kid, all to injuries that could have been prevented, just by spending 15 minutes on a proper warm-up. This warm-up will be a full-body muscle activation warm-up that targets the main injury-prone areas for cheerleading. When an athlete warms up their full body before practice and competition, it will help prevent muscular strains and pulls, sprains, fractures, and tendonitis. You'll be able to incorporate this with minimal equipment, and all of them are very inexpensive and can be found in the links below. It's important to note that I put these in the order that I like to do them, but you don't have to do that. You can do any specific order that you choose. When I coach my teams, I set them up as stations so that when they could come in early, they could start their warm-up going through station after station in any particular order, whichever one was open. This will help save you time and keep your athletes from just standing around waiting. Also, a big coaching cue that you need to use is make sure that each exercise is performed in a slow and controlled motion. Rushing each rep will not get the desired results that they need. All right, are you ready? Let's get into it. First up is the TKE, which stands for Terminal Knee Extension. They're gonna wrap the band around a steady pole or other surface, then place the band behind the knee and step back to where there's resistance. All they'll need to do is go on their tiptoe and back down for one set of 15 reps per leg. This is gonna help strengthen the muscles surrounding the knee and help protect it during the course of their performance. Next up is the banded face pulls. To set this up, we're gonna set our band about shoulder height. From there, we're gonna grab a hold of the band, think about shoulder width apart. And then from here, they're gonna focus on pulling the band to their face. When doing this exercise, make sure their hands are coming up and their elbows are about as wide as their shoulders. Keeping the elbows at the same level as the shoulders, this will activate their mid-back and shoulder muscles. Next up, we have banded side steps. She's gonna step on the band, pull the band up as far as she can up to her chest, give a slight bend to her knee, and then she's gonna step to the right. It's very important here that she picks up both feet when she steps and doesn't drag that back leg to her lead leg. They should never bring their feet together. The closest their feet should be is shoulder width apart. While they have the band, it leads us to banded square walks. Same stance as before, but we're gonna walk 3 steps up, 3 steps to the right, 3 steps back, and 3 steps over. And then once they complete that, reverse it in the other direction. Next up, they're gonna grab the AirX balance pad. I prefer them to take their shoes off for this to amplify the muscles that are being used, but you can do it either way. They're gonna pull their knee up as if they're performing a lib, and with their opposite hand, reach down and touch the toe that's on the pad, then raise back up slowly. The goal of this exercise is to move slow and controlled while the muscles in the foot and ankle are activated. They will need to do 10 reps on each leg. Next up is the inchworm push-up. So we're gonna have our athlete standing here and then put their hands on the ground. Keep their legs straight, walk the hands out so they're in a push-up position, keep the body straight, then do a push-up. Walk the hands back to their feet, slow and controlled, stand straight up, and they finish the set. Make sure they keep their elbows in as close to the body as possible as they lower to the ground. And if they have flexible hamstrings, they can put their feet close together. Now, if their hamstrings are not as flexible, they can put their feet apart just a little bit and do the same thing. The single leg elevated hip thrust is a fancy exercise that activates the butt and the legs. To do it, lie down on the floor with your arms out to the side. Place the feet on something sturdy like this panel mat here. Lift the hips up so that your body makes a straight line from your knees to your shoulders. Keep the tummy tight and push down on the mat with the foot. If you push down with the heel, you work your legs more. If you push down with the toes, the calves will be worked more. We'll do this 1 set of 10 as well. For the YWT, these are gonna work the shoulders and the upper back. She's gonna reach up in a Superman position, hold for 10 seconds with the thumbs pointed up. After 10 seconds, she's gonna stay in the position, pull her arms to a W, thumbs still pointing up, and the elbows parallel to the floor. Make sure that her elbows don't dip. Count to 10, then out to a T. Thumbs are still pointing up to reach the maximum activation. The bodyweight squat here is simple. She's going to clasp in front of her face, slowly bend down to a squat. The bodyweight squat is going to activate their quad, the hamstrings, the glutes, as well as your hips, calves, and core. Each one of these have been crucial in helping my teams prevent serious injuries over the years. This program is designed with purpose and all based on science-backed information. For example, females tend to have a wider pelvis than males, which changes the alignment and mechanics of their lower bodies. Their knees are more likely to tilt inward, while the ankles remain spaced apart. This puts more stress on their ACL. The banded side steps trigger the muscles that stabilize the knee and reduce the risk of tearing. Warming up is a very important part of any cheer team. It helps reduce the risk of injury, improve their performance, and can make everyone feel more comfortable and confident. By including these 9 exercises into your warm-up, you can prepare your athletes' bodies for any physical activity that you're ready to do that day. And they'll perform at their best. Look, I hope this has served you. And remember, legacy outlasts applause. So go impact someone's life in a positive way.